So for the third time this weekend, out of the 4 races that we've got, the Focus Cup Championship heads around the Snetterton 300 circuit. So welcome along, everybody, our penultimate race of the weekend for the Focus Cup on what is a 4-race weekend for them. So they head around the circuit for what is their penultimate race of the weekend. And this grid is going to be based on their finishing positions from earlier on, albeit, if you're watching earlier on, each batch of 6 get reversed. So if you win the race, you start 6th. If you finish 6th, you start 1st. If you finish 7th, you'll start 12th. If you finish 12th, you'll start 7th. Each batch of 6 gets reversed in each of the particular classes. Class 1 for the petrol engine cars, Class 2 is the diesel engine cars. Let me guide you through the grid then and the way that they should line up for this 5th round of the championship here at Snetterton. And the way that they'll line up is that all of the petrol cars will start ahead of the diesels. So Simon Langford starts from pole position, and alongside him is Simon Walton. It's Ian Mitchell who has got Ali Topley for company on row number 2. Then as we head on to row number 3, it's Craig Appleton and John Baker, who was the race winner earlier on. Before, on row number 4, we can see that it is going to be the car of Ian Graham alongside Shields Bergstrom. Then it is going to be Mark McCann, who is the last of the petrol engine cars, which means that on pole for the diesels in reality then is number 37, which is Ian Howard. Adam Winter and Macaulay Underwood are next up on row number 6. And as we head to row number 7, it is going to be Jake Critchley and Andrew Mitchell. Then it is Lewis Clark, who claimed his first win in the diesel category earlier on today. He's a 3-times champion. He has got for company the car of Abby Walton that sits alongside. Then, as we work our way further down through the order, it's Kevin Taylor Beebe, who is alongside Rich Hall, with then the car of Cameron Ferraro Mackenzie sitting alongside Mark Reed on row number 10. As we get to the 11th row of the grid, that's going to be Sarah Hall, who has got sitting alongside her, I should say, the car in the hands of Neville Voss. And then it is going to be Charlie Hall, who is being kept company by Matt Croft on the 12th row of the grid. And that is the way that they line up for this 5th round of the championship. There are 30 points available for a win in each one of the 4 races. There was also 30 points available if you qualified on pole position in your class. So the way that the qualifying points work is exactly the same as the race points work. It's 30 if you're first, it's 26 for second, 23, 21, 20, and so on it diminishes. Drivers who do not finish score just a single point. And there are 5 points for the fastest lap of the race. And all points scored in qualifying fastest laps and races count towards the championship. There's no dropped scores in this one. You can still see it's a bit blustery here. The wind is a little bit calmer than it was yesterday. The temperature is a little bit warmer as well here at Snetterton, but there's still this sort of large clouds over us, but none of them look ominous at all. I think the weather largely is going to stay dry for the rest of the day. There was a slight possibility of some rain towards the tail end of the day, which could possibly affect maybe their 4th and final race of the weekend, because that's around about 5:30 tonight, just after we're due to get the final race of the weekend underway. So some colours then. It's white with Union Jack flashes to it in the hands of Simon Langford. It's blue and lighter blue for Simon Walton that sits alongside, or sort of black and light blue. And then row 2 of the grid, it is black and red and yellow for Ian Mitchell alongside the white and black and yellow car of Alistair Topley. Next up is going to be Craig Appleton, who is sort of light green and black alongside John Baker's car, which is dark blue, and then lighter blue flashes to it. In terms of those cars in the diesel category, watch out for the yellow and black and grey car of Ian Howard. He had a troubled day yesterday with some electrical gremlins with his car, but he will be starting from pole position in the diesel category, so watch out for him and let's see what he might be able to do in this one. So the final row of the grid comes into position now. We'll get the 5-second board held aloft any second now once we get the green flag at the tail end of the field. There's the 5-second board. 15 minutes on the clock. Round 5 of the 2026 Focus Cup Championship is about to get underway here at Snetterton with Simon Langford on pole position. Lights go out. It's not a bad start from Simon Langford at all. Good start also from Simon Walton as they charge their way up towards Ritchie's for the first time. Ian Howard at the wheel of the diesel class also got a good start, and I think he'll be leading that. But it's Simon Langford that leads the race overall, from Ian Mitchell in 2nd place, Simon Walton in 3rd, and Ali Topley looks as though he is there in 4th place. The leading diesels just to work their way through the corner, and is that Macaulay Underwood, I think, that's maybe picked up the lead in the diesels in the early stages. It looked like Macaulay Underwood's car. It's the number 20 car. Yeah, that's Macaulay Underwood that has picked up the lead in the diesel category early doors. So it's been a great start from him, because he started, I think, third of the diesel cars on the grid, so he really was able to launch the car off the line. The petrols, always, as ever, pulling away. They've got about 120 brake horsepower more than the diesels, and for the lead of the race, it is going to be Ian Mitchell that has the inside line as they head up towards Agostini. So Simon Langford down into second, might be down into third, because Ali Topley at the wheel of the Powermax car is trying to prise the door open. And in the diesels, I think Ian Howard is going to take the lead of the race back away again from Macaulay Underwood in the diesel category. So Ian Howard's car is the car with the yellow and the black flashes, and in the background of the shot, yep, you could just see he is still leading the diesel category. So the petrol's starting to work their way up towards Williams for the first time. Simon Langford down into second under pressure from Ali Topley, and there's contact further back, and I'm afraid that is John Baker, who may have some suspension damage as a result of that. You can see the frustration there, and I'm not sure whether that actually was with Simon Walton, maybe, where the contact was made, and I think that's probably broken the front right suspension on the number 10 car. And if he can't pop that car into reverse and get it out of harm's way, that might possibly require a safety car, but hopefully John Baker will do his very best to try and get that car out of harm's way so that the race can continue. At the moment, he is, I think, rather frustrated. You can see the hand gestures and the movements where he's just frustrated that he knows that that's going to be the end of his particular race. The race still continues for the meantime, with Ian Mitchell leading the way from Ali Topley in second position. Those two fighting away for the lead of the race. Simon Langford sitting there in third place, and as they come over the start-finish line, for the moment we still continue with just localised yellow flags for that stricken car out on circuit on the exit of what is Williams. And for the lead of the race, Ali Topley's mounting a challenge here on Ian Mitchell. He's not going to be close enough as they head up towards Ritchie, so into the pits, by the look of things, is also going to be crawling Mark Reed. He had problems with a broken drive shaft earlier on, and it looks so his difficult day continues as well, with the number 3 car going slowly, and I'm sure will be destined for the pits at the end of this one. Class 2 being led by Ian Howard from Macaulay Underwood, from Andrew Mitchell, the top 3 in the diesel category as they came over the start-finish line at the end of lap number 1. And as for the race overall, Ian Mitchell and Alastair Topley are still trying to work out who wants to be first and who wants to be second as they exit Palmer and start to work their way down towards the braking area for Agostini. Alastair Topley on the left-hand side of your screens, which is the right-hand side of the circuit. He's going to try and look to get the undercut as they head up towards the next corner. Yellow flags, and I think safety car is coming out. So I think with the stricken car of John Baker, yeah, that is safety car. You can see the SC lights flashing around the circuit, and the safety car has come out because John Baker has not been able to work his way into a safe position. So with his car stricken on the exit of Williams, that is the requirement of the safety car. And in the background of the shot, you can just see recovery trucks and tow trucks heading in that general direction to try and hoist him out of harm's way. So the safety car sitting at pit lane exit to scoop up the pack. I don't think it's going to be a particularly long safety car period, this one. I said that earlier on, but then didn't realise there was oil had been put down on the circuit when Mark Reed's car failed on the start line. But for this one, I'm hoping that just tow that car out of harm's way a little bit behind the barriers and then get the recovery trucks out of harm's way, then we might be good for just maybe this lap that in theory is safety car, but they haven't got to it as yet, and then one lap fully behind the safety car. That might give the marshals and the recovery crews enough time. It depends where they're going to deposit the car. So on the Bentley Straight, there is another car stopped, actually. We hadn't picked up on that one. That is Lewis Clark. So that is Lewis Clark, who won the diesel category earlier on today. That's a 3-times champion, Lewis Clark, who is 2 times a champion in the diesel category. Moved up to petrol last year and won that, and has stepped back to diesel this year. But Lewis Clark, who had a rotten weekend at Donington Park, claimed a race win earlier on today. Something's happened again, and he's stopped out on circuit. So there's 2 cars now to deal with, so that might have an outcome as to how long this safety car period is. There's the leader of the diesel categories. So that is Ian Howard, who is under pressure before the safety car came out from the car that sits directly behind him, which is Macaulay Underwood. Andrew Mitchell will be 3rd in the diesels. Adam Winter will be 4th in the diesels. Jake Critchley will be 5th. And 6th in the diesel category at the moment. It's going to be Cameron Ferrari Mackenzie. So they're the diesel cars just heading past us now. Yes, there is the number 8 car, so that is Cameron Ferrari Mackenzie, who is 6th in the diesel category. I say it's a real turn of fortunes for Ian Howard, who was plagued with electrical gremlins yesterday and qualified right at the very back of the grid for the first race of yesterday, and here we are 24 hours later. He's starting from pole for this one and he's holding his own as well before the safety car came out in the diesel category. So 9 minutes of the race still to go, 2 cars to sort out. The number 10 car of John Baker, the number 17 car of Lewis Clark to sort out. John Baker's car is on the exit of Williams, so he's right at the start of the Bentley Straight. Part the way down the Bentley Straight is where we see Lewis Clark's car. So the recovery trucks and the crews are going to have to deal with both of those to try and move them out of harm's way. The safety car is just on the infield at the moment, heading out of Agostini up towards Hamilton and then on towards Oggies. So it won't be that much longer before it goes back past the incidents, which will allow us to understand as to how the recoveries of the cars are going on and how much longer we may still have behind the safety car before we can get things back underway once more. There's the number 55 car of Matt Croft. I think he had a spin in one of the races earlier on today, and that dropped him down through the order. He started on the 14th row of the grid for this one, which was the penultimate row, and he is the last of the cars circulating as things stand, I think, at the moment. So John Baker's car has disappeared from that shot, so the number 10 car is out of harm's way. The Class 1 car, the petrol engine machine, is just being hoisted onto the back of the flatbed recovery unit, and you can see that broken front suspension with that contact that was made. And as for the whereabouts of Lewis Clark's car, there you can see off to the left of your screens, it looks as though no attempt at the moment is being made to do anything with that car, so I'd imagine the officials are happy that that is in a safe position. Whereas for John Baker, of course, he was on the outside of a corner, and any car that has an incident and runs wide is going to head off in that direction, so it's very much in the firing line, whereas Lewis Clark's car on a straight, it's deemed to be in a much, much safer position. So I'll probably leave that car there until the end of the race and then deal with it. So once we get John Baker's car out of harm's way, that might be it. I think we're going to have at least one more lap behind the safety car, because there's no way that recovery truck is going to be able to get John Baker's car onto the flatbed, get it secured down and get behind the barriers in time. So I think we'll have one further lap behind the safety car, and that means that we're probably only going to get one more racing lap, possibly 2 at the very most out of this one, because the clock will be continuing to tick all of the time. There's the rather frustrated looking John Baker about to hop into the cab. So claimed a race win earlier on today. He'd had a couple of seconds prior to that. He was second in the opening race of the season at Donington Park. He was second in the first race of the weekend that we had yesterday. So has already been a regular podium finisher, John Baker, and was certainly a regular podium finisher last year as well. If we look back to what he did at Snetterton last year, which was a similar format again. We had 3 races at Snetterton last year. He finished on the podium in all 3 of them. He won 1, he finished 3rd in the other 2, did John Baker. And of the 2 wins he claimed last year, one was here at Snetterton, the other one was at Croft towards the tail end of the championship season. He finished 3rd overall in the petrol category last year and was lying in 3rd place after the Donington rounds coming into this weekend. So just under 6 minutes of the race remain. Ian Mitchell leading the way. Ian was the first race winner of the 2026 championship season. He won the opening round at Donington Park, so he would dearly like to try and add to that tally. He had a good weekend at Donington Park because he was the winner of the first race. He finished 3rd in the second race and was 4th earlier on today. Now there's Lewis Clark again, so for whatever reason his car had stopped out on circuit, it's now going again, so he's back behind the wheel of it. I would imagine he's got it fired up and is probably just going to work his way back round into the pits. Let's just hope that the car keeps going, because of all of that it's starting to stutter again and seems to be slowing down. So if it is, Lewis Clark would be wise to pull that car off the circuit, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to pull that car off the circuit, and even more sensibly has done so right near a gap in the barrier. So that is very, very sensible driving from the 3-times champion, because now all that it needs is a bit of marshal power, maybe a bit of driver power, to just push that car back, and once it's behind the wall, the marshal's just indicating, hop in back behind the wheel again, get a bit of left hand lock on, left hand down, get a bit of lock on, will push that car back behind the barriers, and then that means that that car is totally out of harm's way. And when the safety car gets down to that point, hopefully the marshals on that post and the post chief will contact race control and say, yep, we've now got the 17 car, it is fully behind the barriers, this section of the circuit is clear. And then as long as we've got John Baker's car out of harm's way and the recovery crews have identified that they are clear, lights could well go out on the safety car at the end of this lap, which should allow for 2 laps of racing, because a racing lap in these sorts of cars is, you know, just over 2 minutes. And by the time we get over the start-finish line, we're going to have 3 minutes left. We should get 2 racing laps out of this one. If the safety car comes in at the end of this lap, we'll have to wait and see. So lights were still on the safety car. Lights remain on the safety car and go off. Right, so the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. Now, there'll be no overtaking until they reach the control line. So for Ian Mitchell, he can decide when he wants to go. For the moment, the safety car is pulling away from them. Ian Mitchell is weaving from side to side. He'll look for where the safety car is and make sure that when he decides to go, that he's got enough of a gap that he doesn't need to ease back off the throttle again because he's catching the safety car. So still a bit of weaving from side to side. And when is he going to go? He goes now by the look of things. So up towards the braking area for Murray's, onto the brakes, get a good exit, knows that he can't be under pressure and overtaken until the start-finish line. Ali Topley is trying to go with him. Safety car heads in towards the pit lane. We get the race back underway, and it looks as though Ian Mitchell has had a good restart, but in his slipstream is Ali Topley, who is gaining on him as they head up towards Ritchie's this time through. Onto the brakes and in towards the right-hander. Ali Topley cannot do anything at Ritchie's. Can he get the cut back on the way out of the corner? I would imagine that Ian Mitchell is going to defend and move the car over to the right-hand side to protect the inside line for Wilson, which is exactly what he does. So the cars remain in the same order. Simon Langford is there in third. It is Simon Walton in fourth. Mark McCann outbrakes himself and runs very, very, very wide and loses a place and puts himself under pressure from Shields Bergstrom. And in the diesel category, it's as they were. Ian Howard leads the diesel category still from in second position Macaulay Underwood, and third in the diesel category is going to be Andrew Mitchell in the YouTube liveried car. But the overall race leaders up towards Agostini. Ian Mitchell looking to try and scoop up win number 2 of the championship season, under pressure from Ali Topley, who is also trying to scoop up win number 2 of the championship season, and win number 2 this weekend as well, I've got to say. Simon Langford still sitting there in third place at this stage. He's only had 1 podium so far this year. That was at Donington Park. He's not had a podium as yet this weekend, a 4th and a 6th in the 2 races so far, so he'd desperately like to hang on to third place at this stage. But Simon Walton, the man behind the championship, has got other ideas about it, as has Craig Appleton as well, at the wheel of the light green car, who finished second in the race earlier on today and is currently sitting there in car number 5 in 5th place. So the clock is showing that there are 3 minutes of the race still to go, so they have added 2 further minutes to this race. So yeah, the clock was showing there was only going to be 2 racing laps, but I think because they struggled a little bit with racing time earlier on, they've added 2 further minutes to this one. So that now means that Ali Topley, who has taken up now the lead of the race, is going to have to try and hang on to it for what is 3 minutes remaining according to the clock. So nice that race control have added an extra couple of minutes. So the drivers will be pleased with that. Of all of those that maybe aren't, it's Ali Topley now that he's picked up the lead of the race. Whilst he was in second, he'd have been happy with the extra time because it gave him more time to get there. Further down through the order, Jake Critchley busy fighting away. He has got not that far behind him Neville Voss. Neville Voss has got the car of Kevin Taylor-Beebe queuing up behind him, but for the lead of the diesel category, it is still Ian Howard that leads the way at this stage. But look at the pressure that he's under from Macaulay Underwood that sits directly behind him. Ian Howard's best result this season has been just off the podium in 4th place at the opening round of the season. Well, if he can grab a podium here, and even more so grab a race win, he would be absolutely pleased as punch with that. But look at the cars that are behind him. Macaulay Underwood under pressure to try and take the lead of the race away. You've got Andrew Mitchell not that far away, and then also Adam Winter, who is looking to try and do good things here as well. And we've seen, certainly in yesterday's race, Adam Winter was going particularly well as well. He won that race yesterday. He sits there in the number 4 car, that's 4th of the Class 2 machines at the moment, the 2-litre TDCi diesel engine, 180 brake horsepower, 3-door cars. So through the left-hander at Palmer, on towards the straights that bring them down towards Agostini. The top 4 in Class 2 absolutely together. Ian Howard feeling the pinch from Macaulay Underwood. Is he going to try anything as they head towards Agostini? No. Ian Howard is going to cover it off. And we've got Adam Winter, who's trying to go round the outside of Andrew Mitchell. Andrew Mitchell's trying to sneak up the inside of Macaulay Underwood. As it is, they all end up coming out of the corner in exactly the same order as they went in. But then, all of a sudden, Andrew Mitchell and Adam Winter both sneak through and ahead of Macaulay Underwood, who I think might have a problem here. Because all of a sudden, the number 20 car slowed there for no apparent reason. Did he miss a gear, possibly? Or is there a problem with his car? Because he has dropped away from the top 4 and looks as though he is struggling, possibly. Now, Ali Topley set a new fastest lap of the race last time through. 2 minutes 12.761. Having picked up the lead of the race, you can see he has pulled away from Ian Mitchell in second place. Simon Langford still in third. Then it is going to be Simon Walton in fourth place, and Craig Appleton, who completes the top 5 at this stage. But with 30 seconds to go, they will now be heading on to what will be their last lap of the race this time through. Another new fastest lap of the race to Ali Topley. 2 minutes 11.828. That brings with it an extra 5 championship points if you can hang on to it. Simon Walton in the number 2 car, the man behind the championship, still desperate to try and hang on to 4th place at this stage. He'd like a podium if he could, Simon Walton. He's had a couple of 3rd places, one at Donington Park, the opening race of the season, one here at the beginning of yesterday as well, when he finished in 3rd place. And as a driver who has, in the last few years, developed these petrol engine cars which were introduced into the championship last year, Simon has been non-championship scoring the last few years, but he did say to me at Donington Park that he's scoring this year. He's going to race hard this year. Adam Winter trying to sneak up the inside of Andrew Mitchell and steal the place away, but couldn't quite do it. So Adam Winter still 3rd of the diesel engine cars at the moment. Andrew Mitchell still hanging on to 2nd, and all of this whilst Ian Howard still leads the diesel category at this stage. Paul O'Neill, who is driver coach for Ian Howard, former British touring car driver, and of course regular on ITV Sports BTCC presentation team. He's driver coach to Ian Howard, and Ian so far, after a difficult start to the weekend, is doing a really good job of hanging on to this lead, despite the fact he's under big pressure from Andrew Mitchell, who was trying to prise the door open going down in towards Agostini. But the number 37 car of Ian Howard was having absolutely none of it there. The clock has ticked to 0. They are on their last lap of the race. The top 3 in diesel, I think, are going to fight it out between themselves as to who finishes on which step of the podium. But the top step of the podium and the race win overall is surely looking as though it's going to go the way of last year's diesel class champion, who moves up to petrol this year, Ali Topley, who is on course for his 2nd win of the weekend here. The Power Max car heads round through Coram, onto the brakes at Murray's, grabs the apex, accelerates his way neatly out of the corner, and round 5 of the 2026 Focus Cup Championship is going to go the way of Ali Topley, who claims his 2nd win of the weekend here at Snetterton. He comes through to grab the win. It's going to be Ian Mitchell who finishes in 2nd position. Simon Langford will come through in 3rd place, with Simon Walton in 4th and Craig Appleton in 5th. Mark McCann will complete the top 6, and in the diesel category it is still Ian Howard, but only just from Andrew Mitchell and Adam Winter. The 3 of them for the lead of the diesel category are all tied together as they head out of the bomb hole and round through Coram for the final time. It looks as though time and opportunities are running out for Andrew Mitchell. If he wants to try and grab the race win, then he's got to find something. He's not going to try it on the way in towards Murray's. Adam Winter was really late on the brakes going in towards Murray's, but quick in meant slow out for him, unfortunately, and it looks as though the diesels are going to end up in Class 2 in exactly the same order. It is going to be Ian Howard that comes through, not just to grab his first podium of the year, but to grab his first win of the year. He comes through to claim the win in Class 2, the diesel category, from Andrew Mitchell, who was the championship leader in Class 2 coming into this weekend. But that's another solid performance from him. And Adam Winter, who was a race winner yesterday, will wrap up the overall podium in the diesel category. So brilliant squabbling from those 3 cars. And of course, remember our final race of the weekend, which is coming up later on today at around about 5:30, there or thereabouts this afternoon. It is based on the finishing results again of this race. But remember, we do get those batches of 6s that will get reversed. So the race winner will start 6th. If you started 6th or finished 6th, you will start on the front row of the grid. And the same if you finish 7th, you'll start 12th. If you're 12th, you'll start 7th. Each batch of 6 gets reversed. Let's confirm the results for you then. Ali Topley claims the win from Ian Mitchell in 2nd place and Simon Langford in 3rd place. Simon Walton was 4th, ahead of Craig Appleton, who was 5th, and Mark McCann was 6th. Shields Bergstrom was 7th. Ian Graham was in 8th place, and 9th place was the winner of Class 2, the diesel category, Ian Howard, with his first win of the season. Andrew Mitchell wraps up the top 10. He was 2nd of the diesel cars home. Then it was Adam Winter, who was 11th, who completes the diesel podium. Macaulay Underwood was next up, ahead of Jake Critchley. Then it was Neville Voss. Before then, we see the number 99 car of Rich Hall, who completed the top 15. Then it was Kevin Taylor-Beebe, ahead of Charlie Hall. Then it was Abby Walton, and completing the top 19 and 20 were going to be the cars of Cameron Ferraro Mackenzie, followed by Matt Croft, who finished in 20th position. Then we've got a couple of cars that finished just outside of the top 20, which was cars that sadly retired, the likes of the number 3 in the hands of Mark Reed, and also John Baker and Lewis Clark as well. And that is our results for round 5 of the Focus Cup Championship. We will have one further race for them coming up later on today. That is timetabled to get underway at around about 5:35 this afternoon. So from everybody here at Snetterton and the Focus Cup, thanks for joining us. But remember, one more race to come later on today. So for the moment, we'll say goodbye.